In this short video, I'm going to show you how to start a new project setting up the grammar automatically by importing an Excel file. PCAs will use the information contained in the Excel file to set up the grammar on the basis of a general class of three objects: document, complex, and simplex objects. When importing the Excel file, PCAs will ask you first if some of the columns contain document object fields. You do not need to have columns containing document information, but if you do, PCAs will use those columns to set up a new PCA's document type automatically. Then PCAs will ask you about complex objects. What are the fields in the table that represent complex objects? You have to remember that complex objects in PCAs do not contain any data, only simplex objects do. So the cells below a complex object header uh, can be blank. For example, here in this Excel file, I decided to set up the column A, macro event, as a complex object, and the column C as another complex object. These columns can be empty. PCAs will automatically set to simplex objects any column not selected as either documents or complex objects. For these simplex objects, PCAs will ask you what kind of value types they are, so numbers, text, dates, or boolean. PCAs will also ask you to set up the nodes relations, specifying the parent-child couples between complex and simplex objects or complex and other complex objects. PCAs will automatically set up couples of parent-child objects by associating the simplex or complex object fields in the Excel file to the nearest complex object field to the left of each of them. So if event is a complex object, PCAs will associate automatically as children to event the column description and date that are simplex objects, while it will associate the column victim to macro event, that is the other complex object that we have in this sample Excel file. PCAs will create by default a new primary complex object for each row of the Excel file. That means that for each row, PCAs will create a new tree where the primary complex is its root. If you want to put in relation multiple rows, then you can use a column of hierarchical complex as a key field to make connection and merge multiple rows in the same data tree. PCAs will ask you when creating the grammar which of the complex objects you want to be hierarchical. Those key fields must be numeric and have to be contained in a field corresponding to a hierarchical complex object. So here, for example, if we want to set up only macro event as a hierarchical object, and we want to use those numbers as keys in order to merge rows under the same hierarchical complex, we can have the key 1 in order to merge those two rows under the same macro event, and here we can put the number 2 in order to tell PCAs that we want this row to be in a new primary complex. If we do not set up event as a hierarchical object, then we can delete those key fields and leave the data under the field event blank, since event is a complex object, so no data would be imported anyway from this field. Now I can show you how to import the data in PCAs. So we go to the main menu, quick menu, start a new project. We want to import an Excel file with automatically set up the grammar. The Excel file has the correct format, we saw it before. Let's say we do not want to use any documents for this new project, so I will click on cancel. I'll select now the Excel file, and PCAs has detected the headers that I showed you before: macro event, victim event, description, and date. And click OK. As you can see, PCAs has automatically created a new document type. Even if we said that we do not want to use any documents, PCAs anyway needs this to cross-reference the object that we will create now. Now we will just select no in order to continue and not changing the document type name. Okay, now PCAs is asking us to select the first fields of the Excel file that we are importing. We select macro event, and then we select also event. That is the other complex object that we have. And then click ESC to continue. We accept setup by pressing cancel. Is one of those complex a primary complex? Yes. Macro event is the primary complex. We do not want to change anything. No, event is not a hierarchical complex, so we click no. Now we can change the relations between the complex objects, so we can set up the couples complex parent and complex child. For now, we see that we have macro event that has the parent macro event, since it's the primary complex, so it has no real parent in the tree structure, and the object event that has as parent macro event. We do not want to change that, and now we have to select the combinations of simplex and complex objects. So for example, victim has as parent macro event, description and date have event as parent. As I told you before, PCAs has associated the simplex objects in the Excel file to the nearest complex object on the left. Do we want to change any properties of the complex objects? For now, we just press ESC since we do not want to change anything. Same thing for the simplex object. Again, press ESC. Do not want to change anything else, so I click no. And now PCAs has created the grammar. Now, did we use any fields of hierarchical complex as key fields in order to group the rows under the same primary complex? In this case, yes, because we had key fields on the macro event column. So we click yes. And now PCAs has imported our data. We can click OK. And then, for example, we can view the grammar. Here, we see description date under event and victim under macro event. Or we can view the data by pressing F3 and opening the complex list view form. Here we can see that we have only two primary complex because we had grouped the rows in the Excel file, the first two together and the last one alone. So if we open the first primary complex, we see that we have two victims, name man and Zeblong, and two events, because we didn't decide to group events. We didn't put a key field under the field event. If we go down, we see the description and date of the first lynching case and the description and date of the second one.